black and white. Today we have two black men joining the fray. Myself and Hervé Francois is back, our special correspondent from Jersey. Brock Canellis, our resident white guy, joins us, keeping an eye on the white community for us. And Brock, it's interesting. The eh, these people think that they can just tell us anything. They think they can piss on us and tell us that it's raining outside. They have lost control of the narrative because they're lying, and no one can keep the lies together. The video contradicts everything that they say in Minnesota. There's a federal judge there now demanding that the head of DHS appear in courtroom or face contempt charges. And so now what you're seeing is, basically the perfect storm, right? Because the people of Minnesota are not letting up. I popped on the newscast at KSTP, the ABC affiliate in St. Paul today at about 10 after 4, and they were covering the ice festival. They had a reporter dedicated to going live at the ice festival. So, as Brock, as we've been saying, the media continues to fail us. You've got people dying on your streets and you're out at the fucking ice carving expedition? Who the fuck's in charge?
Ice carving.
Who the fuck's in charge? I was mortified. I turned it off. I said, see, this is exactly why I left local news. Because nobody gives a fuck. All right. So, Hervé, let's get your thoughts on, 2 weeks, two shootings, two amazing human beings, but more importantly, two white people protesting for the black and brown people of Minneapolis. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, my thoughts are unfortunately what's happening is was inevitable to happen. And that is for however they guise this quote unquote on mission. We're going to go into Minneapolis and we are going to arrest and deport illegal immigrants. That has been supplemented. That has been supplanted, excuse me.
Yeah.
That is no longer the story. That is no longer the focus. That's no longer the primary. And I should say that never was the primary. There was never a
No.
mission. Listen, this is how, I was thinking about it earlier today. When our military went into Iraq to get Saddam Hussein, our military, our Marines, if you guys remember, they had a deck of cards. And on this deck of cards was not only Saddam Hussein, but all of his lieutenants of the army,
Mm-hmm.
right? All these
Sure.
these terrorists. And they not only had that, but they also had rules of engagement. What happens in the event that we are engaged? What are our rules? Kind of a thing. And I think the reason why our military had that deck of cards and rules of engagement is because they said, okay, listen, we are here for a mission. And the mission is we have to go ahead and we need to get these people on these cards and everything else like that. This, what is going on in Minneapolis is the complete opposite of how our troops carried out their mission in Iraq. And I'm not saying that it didn't happen or did not take place without errors, without mistakes, and so on and so forth. But over here, and I was listening to a post from a state senator from Minnesota today who lives in the suburbs of Minneapolis. And what she had been describing in regards to how ICE agents are going after immigrants in Minneapolis, in St. Paul. She says, listen, they are not walking around with a piece of paper with a list of names and addresses of illegal immigrants, knocking on their doors, arresting them, and deporting. They are not doing that. She said what they have been doing, they'll drive around, they'll look into your car if you're driving around. If they see that you are black or brown, they'll go ahead and they'll run your license plate. And if they might suspect, basically racial profiling, if they suspect that you might be illegal simply because of the pronunciation and or spelling of your name, they'll pull you over and ask you questions. There's no rhyme to reason as to whom they are pulling over, whom they are arresting. They don't know how they're targeting these people. They're just bum rushing people in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, which is why we heard that story of that man that got pulled out of his house in the middle of the morning in his underwear and then returned hours later. He was an American citizen. Why did they
Yep.
target him? It's
Happening too
because he
often.
was from Vietnam. So
Yep.
what I'm saying is that there's not a mission here. And
No,
with no
absolutely
mission,
not.
there are no rules, there are no laws, and with that, inevitably, your civil rights are going to get stripped. And they will
Well,
treat you without having any civil rights. And
yep.
this is what happened with Renee Good. This is what happened with Alex Peruti. This is what's happening with the other protesters there. You
Yep.
are getting
Absolutely.
your civil rights taken away. So for any of you
Trampled
MAGA
on.
folks that are in support of what ICE is doing in Minneapolis, okay, but understand this. What happened to Renee Good, what happened to Alex Peruti can happen to anybody. Doesn't matter if you are an illegal immigrant or not. Doesn't matter
Yep.
if you are black, brown, white, Asian. Doesn't matter if you're from the US, if you're from Minnesota or any other state. This can happen to you, your spouse, your kids, your parents. So be
Yeah.
careful before applauding. And I'll just leave it here is that now you are beginning to see, as we have seen him do this on many occasions, right? Trump beginning to backpedal. And
Got to.
he's beginning to backpedal on the atrocities that are happening over there. Because what he's realizing is that for whatever little bit of control he had on this situation, he is now losing control. He's losing control where it can hurt its purse strings, where their Senate Democrats are saying, hey, listen, we're not passing a bill if it includes funding for ICE anymore. He is losing on approval ratings across the board on it. And he's seeing his own citizens, yes, there might be Democrats, but he's seeing American citizens, white, blonde hair, the whole nine, getting killed in the middle of the streets. And it's all being caught on video. No different than
Yeah.
the killing of George Floyd was caught on video. And so when it's on video, I understand and I always see there's 100 different interpretations of a video. We all see the same thing. And for
Yeah.
Kristi Noem or Stephen Miller to come out and say, hey, this guy, Alex Peruti, is a domestic terrorist when everyone has seen the
Joke.
video, right? So what's happened is he's lost control. So now he's forcing the head of Border Patrol out of Minneapolis. He's sending Tom Holman in to meet in with the mayor of Minneapolis because they realize that they've lost control. And they lost control. This is what happens when you are trying to do something so damn serious and you've put people in charge that have absolutely no experience nor knowledge in what you're doing. And you are masking, and I'll leave it here, you are masking what you're doing as, oh, we are trying and looking to get rid of illegal immigrants in this country. Bullshit you are. Bullshit you are because you're going into a state that only has 130,000 illegal immigrants before starting in a state like Texas that has 2.2 million
Million.
illegal immigrants, or a state like Florida that has 1.7 million immigrants, illegal immigrants. And if you want to go and throw race into it, that there are 500,000 plus undocumented illegal immigrants from Europe living in the United States right now. Why aren't you rounding them up?
Well, Irvin, what you said it was a recipe for disaster because you said there's no mission,
There's no mission.
but yet there's quotas, right? So
That's right.
there's no mission, but people got to hit numbers. So
Right.
they get to drive
Right.
around and they're adding them up. Got two today, got four, right? They're just running cars off the road,
Right.
calling people out saying, "Oh, you're brown. I'm taking you in. I don't care if you're a citizen." This, that, and the other thing.
But then you're not hitting a quota then, right?
Yeah.
Because if you bum rush the guy in the house, you pull him out of his house, and then you send him back 3 hours, are you accounting that towards a quota?
I don't know. We
He's
don't
an
know how the
American
quotas
citizen.
work. I don't know. I don't
Right?
know how the bonus system exactly works. But they seem to be incentivized to pull more people in and only let them back out, after they've figured out that they're dead wrong with no remorse, right? They're just dropping people back on their doorstep like in their pajamas. But when you talked about Trump, yes, he's lost control, but I don't think Trump's concerned that a couple people died. I know he's not happy there was a couple white people because he knows that that may affect his base.
No doubt.
I think Trump's concerned that he's lost control of the narrative and the visuals, and it's playing against him now. It's not playing well on TV. He doesn't
Absolutely.
like the TV show that's playing right now because the
That's right.
TV show is showing the video of them killing an unarmed white person,
Right.
and the commentary is extremely negative in affecting his polls. So,
Yes.
as usual, I think Trump only worries about what it means to
polls.
him.
100%.
There's no way he's shed a tear for Renee
No.
Good.
No, no, no,
Freddie.
no, no,
We
not at
know
all.
that, right?
No,
but
no,
he but
absolutely.
he might shed a tear
For his
for
approval
poll
ratings.
numbers going down.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. He'll shed a tear off for
That
that
part.
for a second. And I'll never forget. It's interesting you bring that up, Brock, because this happened when Martin Luther King was invited to the White House by Lyndon B. Johnson, and this was after Kennedy was assassinated, right? And the discussion of Civil Rights Act bill and everything else like that. And at the time, it's because it was black and white TV, but it was TV. It wasn't social media, but it was TV. And what was being shown real time on TV was fire hoses being sprayed amongst black citizens down in Memphis, Tennessee. And it that amongst other things truly forced Lyndon B. Johnson to say we have to do something here, or Martin Luther King telling him, hey, listen, this is what's going on in the backyard of your country. This is what people are seeing not only around the country but around the world. How in the hell are you going to get a handle on this, right? And again, you had no mission down there in Memphis, Tennessee, with cops just brutalizing, right, the black residents of Memphis, Tennessee, and in Alabama, and so on and so forth, right? So, like you said, this is when you look at what's going on in Minneapolis, it's almost not war torn, but very war like what's going on, right? Just pulling people out of their houses, pulling people out of their cars, pulling people off of the streets with no celebrity. And then on top of that, you have what's going on now that rarely has ever happened in this country after the killing, especially among a white person, and not only one but two. You have no investigation going on. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Yes, very sad that Renee Good got shot and killed. Very sad that Alex Peruti got shot and killed. But we're not going to investigate. We're not going to have due process. We're not going to collect evidence. We're not going to interview the shooter. We're not. Hold on. Because now we're third world country like.
Second one.
Right.
We don't even know the shooter is yet on the second
Wait,
one.
this is because
Got shot 11 times.
they know who the shooter is. They are
They
not
know.
sharing.
ICE
Right.
know. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
they know. They're not sharing it. And
We
this
don't know.
And this is a huge problem. Now you're not even allowing a legal process to go through. In any you go outside of your house, if there is a police involved shooting, and it could be a rightful shooting, there's still an investigation done, right?
Right.
If anything, just to clear the police
Yeah.
officer. And then if it's wrongful death, well, then the court process plays itself out.
Well,
This is
Hervé,
not even getting played out.
they've already said that these were rightful righteous shoots.
But
without even
that doesn't mean an
finishing the
investigation
investigation.
shouldn't take place.
Right. Oh, I agree with you
You know what I'm
wholeheartedly.
saying? Yeah.
But they think they can jump the wagon and create the process that they think
Their
is
narrative.
right.
That's right.
Yeah. And
That's right.
now here's what Brock and I were talking about yesterday, and I kind of pushed him into this, is the mirror between what's happening now and the civil rights movement. Because I sent Brock a clip today. Brock, did you see my Senator Mike McGuire clip
Yeah.
where he got emotional on the floor? I don't know
I
if you
did. I
saw it or
watched it.
Vape.
I did.
Yeah.
Brock sent it to me. Yep.
Okay, so Mike McGuire seems to understand that racial profiling is wrong. Now, Hervé, you're from New Jersey. I'm sure you're familiar with a stretch of roadway called the New Jersey Turnpike,
Of course.
where federal authorities, Brock, had to step in the 80s because of the number of African Americans that were being pulled over on the Jersey Turnpike in such ridiculous numbers compared to their white counterparts that the New Jersey State Police had to be monitored by federal authorities. So that was a result
That's
of
right.
racial profiling 40 years ago.
That's right.
Okay. Mike McGuire just seems to be coming around to the fact that racial profiling is wrong when this young boy who had his Spider-Man backpack on was used as bait was the same age as his kid.
Right.
Now, it's interesting that he's now able to put his child in the shoes of that particular child, but hasn't been able to do it for African Americans. And that's what is slowing down the pace of Black Americans, in my opinion, jumping on board the resistance. Hervé,
I agree
you
100%.
may have a different.
Oh,
may have a
I,
different
no, I
perspective.
don't. No, I do not. I agree with your perspective wholeheartedly. I will sum up everything you just said. Um, I'll sum up everything you just said.
Hervé,
in
come a little
full-
closer to your mic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yep.
I will sum up everything, Mark, you just said in 4 easy words. I told you so.
Right.
This has been shit that has been going on for decades.
Yep.
Okay? Well before cameras on cell phones, well before social media and everything else
Yep.
like that. Right? They ignored it, they put it all. And let's be real, Mark. When it did happen to black and brown folk, they would always say, well, we were the aggressors. It was our
Just
fault.
comply.
Think about the Rodney King verdict. One guy
Yep.
versus 10. Well, he was acting up. He was enraged and everything else like that, right? So they always put, but of course, when a white kid did it, well, he must be mentally unstable and all this other stuff. But when a black or brown person does it, then they are the aggressor. They're the ones that weren't listening. They got what they deserved and everything else like that, right? And what would we do? We would hit the streets, we would protest, we would write letters, and a lot of times fall on deaf ears, and they wouldn't listen to us, right? We had to have Black Lives Matter to try to bring even more attention to the cause. And a lot of attention was brought to the cause, not only amongst other black people in this country, but also white people in this country and around the world because of what they saw in that video for 8 minutes with that officer's knee on the neck of George Floyd, right?
Yeah.
But now when they see that this is happening in their own neighborhoods, when the killings are happening to their own, and it's again very sad. I don't wish death upon anyone, and I'm not happy
all.
that Renee Good or Alex Brody killed. I'm not happy that they were white, regardless of the race. If Alex Brody and Renee
Yes.
Good were black, I'd have the same sadness today that I had when I
rage.
found out. Right, the same rage, no doubt about it. But when it does happen to them, the very few times that it does, and it's caught on national TV in the middle of the day the cameras on people's phones. Brock, like you said, it's now gotten out of control. You have congressmen and senators say, "Oh, I have a 5-year-old kid." And that's what I'm saying. This could happen to you. This is why civil rights wasn't a black cause. It's a human cause. Civil liberties. In the moment that your civil liberties are trampled upon, the moment that you don't have protection of your civil liberties, anything and typically everything will happen. And there's no stoppage of it, right? And this is why when Trump said last week or a couple weeks ago, pretty much my limitations are dictated by my moralities, right? I mean, if he didn't have any morals, and I'm not ever going to use him as poster child of morality, but let's say he did not ask for the head of Custom Border Patrol to leave, right? Bonzino, I think is his last name. I forgot his first name, right?
Bovino.
But
Bovino.
Bovino, right? Let's say Tom Holman, the head of ICE, was not being sent to Minneapolis to meet with the mayor of Minneapolis and so on and so forth, right? I mean, at some point, it's like, how does this end? Because that means tomorrow there could be another Renee Good, mother
I
of
want to
three.
jump in because the question I was going to ask you first, Mark. is
Sure.
Like, what's really changed? Okay, we're shifting the desk chairs in the Titanic. Okay, Bovino's out. We're all happy about that. Tom Homan's a raging fucking racist also, so he's stepping in. What is Trump
Huge.
unhappy about? He's not unhappy, and Stephen Miller unhappy about. Not that people are getting rounded up indiscriminately.
No,
Just that a couple white people got caught on video getting shot.
It's on video.
So
That's the
yeah,
thing.
my take is like the only mandate is, hey, stop killing white people on video. Everything else continues. Because I saw a bunch of clips today. They look just as
Terrible.
shitty as they were
Yeah.
48
Terrible.
hours ago.
Yeah.
So nothing's
Yeah.
really changed in the way ICE functions. So we just
But
had
the-
a
but the-
couple
but the- but the
pauses
killings-
where
but the
we all
killings not gonna
stopped
stop.
to watch maybe a couple people get carted away in body bags.
The killing's
Yep.
not going to
So-
stop. The killing's not going to stop because because the public, the protesters, they are being confronted by these agents that are completely just not trained. At a minimum, my brother's an ex-police officer. And everyone's heard about it. The concept of de-escalation. I promise you, in the 47 days of training that these ICE agents are going under, they are not getting trained in de-escalation.
It's not a part of the mission. What does
It's not.
de-escalation have to do with hitting their quotas?
Well,
they have quotas. They're not
right.
being told to like play by the rules that the police force plays by. They
Right.
gotta hit their numbers.
Right, and if you're not being trained in de-escalation, there's a good chance another white person or
Yeah.
someone else. is
Why
gonna
would
get
they be
killed.
trained in de-escalation? It's
Right.
Not
Well,
what
Right.
they're
and-
out
and-
there for.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and so
They're,
that's
they're
why.
trained in intimidation if they're
Right.
even trained in that. But they're just
100%.
given big guns, so the intimidation comes pretty naturally, right? When
Right.
somebody's got a AK-47 cruising down the street, and there's 10 of them, they kind of accomplished. the
Interesting you bring that
intimidation.
up, right? Now, interesting you bring that up, Brock, because now who you hearing criticism coming from? Whoa, wait a minute about these Second Amendment guys. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, I got my concealed carry. I'm allowed to go to a protest with my concealed carry, like Kyle Rittenhouse did. I'm allowed to have my gun in my waistband because I got my legal concealed carry permit. Because you had the head of the district, the attorney general, one of the attorney generals of the United States came out and said, hey, if a person shows up to a protest with a gun, then the authorities, ICE, CPB, they have the right to arrest that person and take him away. So all of a sudden, Second Amendment critics like, whoa, 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 hold on for a second. I got a licensed concealed carry here. That's not the law. that I show
Yeah.
up to a protest and you're allowed to arrest me because I'm carrying with my concealed carry permit. Hold on, and I'm a MAGA guy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
right.
arresting someone is at the low end, right? There's, now the discussion is whether they can just be shot by the
Just be
authorities.
killing you.
And by the
That's
way,
right.
Trump yet again today was making some
Doubling down.
anti-gun comments, like, "Oh, you can't have guns. You can't show up with guns." Like,
Whoa,
huh?
whoa, hold
Well,
on
wait
now.
a second. That's
Hold
your
on now.
core. So happy
Right.
that they've tripped over themselves on this one, but it's just
All the time.
another right that's getting thrown out the door. Right now, it's
Absolutely. No different than the right to
First
free
Amendment,
speech.
Second Amendment,
Second
Fourth
Amendment.
Amendment,
Right.
10th. There's a few others in there that
Oh,
they
this is-
threw out.
yeah.
But okay, but if things don't change and Tom Homan's just a different face on it for now, and maybe he won't wear Nazi garb, so he won't be as bad as Bavino. Maybe he's a little bit more polished than Bavino and not that stupid. I
Well,
mean, that
at
that
what-
might be the only change because
My thing is, at what point do you go back on mission?
right.
And maybe, like I said before, there wasn't a mission. There was,
Well-
we're going to go into the streets of Minneapolis and we're just going to harass the shit out of people.
Irving.
Right? Because it's
Irving.
a blue city, blue state. Go ahead. Yep.
Right. How about the $64,000 question here? What is the fucking solution? Like Brock and I lamented yesterday, there's nobody to call. We got President Clinton, President Obama making strong statements, asking Americans to speak out. Speak out to whom? Who are we supposed to call? The cavalry is not coming.
Right.
Because and Brock, you might remember my phrasing there when tyranny becomes law. What is it? Revolution becomes mandatory. It
Yeah.
becomes duty.
Yeah.
So, like, we're trying to figure out when the rest of America is going to get woke
Right.
and say, you know what, enough of this. Let's shut down DC. Let's gum up the works, and let's get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
Because we can't wait till the midterm. You know how far away the midterms are? We'll be 89 by the time the midterms.
It feels like that.
No, I'm with you,
Yeah,
Marco.
it feels
You were
so.
saying like, "Oh, impeach Kristi Noem." Who gives a fuck?
The
Yeah,
shit
no,
is
I
right.
don't even know what that
Another
means.
Kristi Noem.
I didn't know that was a
Right
possibility.
behind her.
Yeah.
We're all sick of her. We'd be happy to see her get hers and get kicked
Yeah,
out of here.
yeah.
Sick of her lies, but whatever
The
person
problem
who
is
would
she's
take
all
over
she.
the job would still be implementing the
His
Project
policies,
2025
100%,
white
100%.
supremacy movement
That's right.
initiatives.
That's right. She's
comes
just a
from the
figurehead. She is just a talking piece. She is just a figurehead. And they specifically wanted a white woman in that job so the white supremacists can go ahead and they can parade her out. You see, hey, look, we told you so. And she's going to go out there and she's going to talk those talking points and everything else like that. And then what's going to happen to her? Inevitably, what white supremacists do all the time, they're going to throw her out to the wolves. Right? They're going to need, because they're going to need heads to roll, right? We know finger pointing time, heads to roll. He calls her into his office today. Who knows what was said, and so on and so forth. So she'll be the first one to go, but that doesn't mean that the agenda is going to change in regards to whomever they would bring in to replace her. The agenda is going to go ahead and it's going to continue. But let's just remember, this agenda, this mission, this is not a focus on getting illegal immigrants out of the country. This is a focus on specifically getting black and brown folk out of the damn country. That's all this is. You're not targeting the 500,000 illegal European immigrants in this country. You're not targeting illegal immigrants in a Republican state like Texas that has more illegal immigrants than any other state in our union, or another red state like Florida that ranks third, right? California is up there. California might be next. We'll see, right? Gavin Newsom may have something to say about that, right? Everyone's staying at the ready. This is allows them, the Stephen Millers of the world, the Kristi Noems of the world, the Tom Homans of the movement, to go out there and flex their muscles without rules, without laws, stomping on people's civil liberties to no end. And when
Yep.
that happens, unfortunately, you wind up having the results of the sad deaths of a Renee Good and Alex Peruti.
Mark asked the question, what's the solution? Maybe before we get to that, the interim question that I asked Mark yesterday, and then pontificated on, probably for far
Okay.
too long, is are you a step closer to joining
No.
white people
No, I
on
knew
the
you were gonna ask me.
street
No, no.
after seeing
No,
Renee Good
no,
and
no
Alice
fucking
Preddy
way.
get shot
NFW.
in broad
No fucking
daylight?
way. No fucking way. And you've been asking me this for a year, and I appreciate you asking me every goddamn time I come because you're hoping that I'm going to change my answer or
I know.
the next time that I show up. And the answer is still no fucking way.
Not
No
even a
fucking
step
way.
closer.
No. Because listen, let me tell you something right now. Folk, and Mark will understand what I'm talking about. Folk gotta feel it. And I'm not talking about deaths because I'm not a person who supports violence. But folk gotta feel it. What am I talking about? I'm not talking about feeling killings. I'm talking about feeling of your rights getting stripped away, right? And so what you start to hear, you start hearing Hollywood speak up. You start hearing athletes speak up. Now you're hearing politicians on Trump's side beginning to speak up. Rand Paul wants to have the head of ICE and the head of CPB in front in DC for congressional hearings and so on and so forth, right? Because these guys are having their oh shit moment that many of us had back in the 60s. So I'm not going to jump into this fight, right? I'll support the struggle and I'll support the hustle, right? But I got to do it from the goddamn sidelines. I got to
Well,
do it from the damn sidelines because
and
I
Hervé,
know what they're trying to do, right? And
right?
everyone thought this shit could be done peacefully. Oh, we're just gonna walk into Minneapolis and we're gonna go into people's houses and cars and take away illegal immigrants and we're gonna see the crime rate decline. The crime rate's not declining and you're not getting rid of the illegal immigrants. Fuck that, because that's not what this shit is about.
No, sir. And I
That's
told
why I'm
Brock,
not gonna enter this fight.
now I told Brock the other day, I said, Brock,
But
if they're
appreciate the
killing
ask.
good, yeah, I told Brock, I said, if they're killing good white folks, what are they gonna do to me?
Oh yeah,
Right?
please.
Like,
Yo, you're gonna disappear. They'll ship you off.
with the
Yeah, they'll
quickness
ship you off. Yeah.
and
No,
never
F
be
that.
heard from again.
Yeah, no.
You know,
I'm telling you,
and,
man.
and Brock, that is the issue, right?
Yeah.
Because we have already had our rights trampled on.
That's right.
You know, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but look, I mean, we can't acquire and accumulate wealth, right? We can't get money for business loans. Struggle to have to get money for a mortgage, right? Make us jump through all kinds of hoops. You know, Brock. There is no worse feeling than being followed through a department store
We've all
when
had
you
it
have
happen
a
to us.
wallet.
Yeah.
When you have a wallet that you can pay for whatever you'd like out of that store
Right.
within reason, right? And I don't shop at Neiman's and Saks and all that. So I can usually when I'm in Macy's, I'm within my budget. So you know, there is no worse feeling than being made to feel like you were less than. And that country has done that to us for a long time, too long for us to say, all right, we're going to take a chance now. See, white folks made this mess, right? White folks got to clean it up.
They voted for this. As much as the things that the disparaging and horrible things that we may want to say about Donald Trump, people voted for this. They voted for him. And with him comes all he is a conduit. For many folks, what's happening in Minneapolis, they feel that this makes them more American. This is the path that we need to go through in order to make America great again. And we know it's not making America any greater. It is unraveling and it is uncovering the essence of who we are.
And
At
have
its core, it's who we are. Founded on violence. Take things on violence. Continue to go, and then you're going now to start killing your own.
Did I say that?
Violence.
Now, but are you impressed with the people of Minneapolis so far?
I'm not sure
Absolutely.
what you mean by that. What in what you talk about the protesters?
Yeah, the protesters. Yeah, the
Oh
people.
yeah.
The people of
Listen,
Minneapolis.
Glenn,
Hell
listen,
yeah.
I'm in all support of the people of Minneapolis. I'm sitting over there. Yeah, go out there, protest peacefully. Protest your right mind. Ask for anyone to throw fire bombs to those ICE officers and everything else. I would recommend every single one of those protesters to wear a face mask, just like those ICE officers are, because now the ICE officers are taking pictures of people, running them through facial recognition software. Cool. Then go ahead and wear your face mask, just like the January 6th protesters did when they
Yep.
stormed the Capitol.
Yep.
Put your own doggone face mask on if you're going to be out there protesting in the streets of Minneapolis. Don't do stuff illegal. Peacefully protest, but put your face mask off. If anything, prevent freaking tear gas from getting up your damn nose in your mouth and everything else like that.
Right.
So yes, I'm glad they are out protesting. They should be protesting. They want them out. The mayor wants them out. The government wants them out. The religious leaders, they want them out. The CEOs of Target and other Minnesota-based Fortune 500 companies, they're now speaking up. Hey. Whoa, hold on. This is too much. This is not who we are. I beg to
Yeah, it
differ.
is.
Yeah.
I beg to
Yeah, it
differ.
is.
This is
You know,
who
and-
we are. Don't call yourself an American because of it.
Right.
Call yourself
Brock,
something else.
Like, so, I think that, we need to do a better job of saying to white America. See, but again, the white folk that caused this, Brock, are not in your silo, right? They're not
That's true.
in
That's
in
true.
your friend group.
That's
They're
true.
not people that you have influence over. And if they were, you wouldn't have influence over them because we've all seen that these folks are still rocking with Trump. They still think there's 38% of the people that think his immigration deal is a good deal. Thinks he's doing the right thing. The fuck is that? Right? Like infringing and ripping away Americans' rights. Like who had that on their bingo card in at the turn of the century, at the millennium, at 2000, right? In 2000, nobody had that on their fucking. Who had Donald Trump becoming president in 2000 on their bingo card? Absolutely nobody with a brain, especially nobody that grew up in the tri-state area like we did. So, when we look and we say, okay, white America, you need to fix this, especially you white women. I still have yet to hear a white woman articulate her support for Donald Trump that made any sense,
Right.
because women were the ones that were having their rights taken away. Women who now they're trying to legislate where you're gonna have to use your maiden name or else you won't be able to vote. Like, what? Where, like this country is literally going backwards. Are we going to go back to a time when women couldn't have credit cards? Is that what's happening now? Like, what are we doing? Like, how are people looking each other, themselves in the mirror, in the face, and saying, this makes good sense? Because the rest of the world is fucking laughing at us. And, what is China and India coming up with some super deal for trade?
Well, China and Canada are certainly doing a deal, and India
China
and
and Canada
EU,
are doing
and
the
India
damn
and the
thing.
EU are doing a big deal.
That's right.
India and
That's
EU,
right.
there
I
it
guess
is.
our auto companies are shitting a brick
Done.
because China's about to do a deal with Canada,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
they'll import
But, you
their
know-
cars into Canada. So yeah, I guess economic pain is what's going
And Mark, here's the thing.
White.
The because because the Constitution is we have to have elections every 4 years and everything else like that, right? And we have our midterms and stuff like that. Those are, call it if you will, the guardrails that have an impact on Trump, right? And what I mean by that is if he were a president for life, right? Always going to be elected, squashes his competitors like Putin does. Anytime, I don't even know why they have presidential elections in Russia, to be honest. It's just like, what's the damn point of having? Anytime someone tries to go up against the guy, he disappears. You know, eats some poison, and gets thrown off a bridge. Helicopter gets blown up, and all this other stuff. And the thing is, like, let's say this was Russia, right? Where troops are going into a city, they're killing their own citizens and everything else like that, right? Putin wouldn't have to care. He wouldn't have to care about the results of any kind of upcoming midterm elections in 9 months from now, or the presidential election, to make sure it stays within the party, right, in the year 2028 and everything else like that. He'd be like, oh, who cares? All right, so my own citizens are getting killed. Who gives a damn, right? But that's what we have here. And like you said before, Trump watches his approval ratings.
Yeah, oh
He
yeah.
obviously cares, right? He cares about the money when they say, okay, listen, we're going to threaten to, close the government if any of this, funding includes funding for ICE agents again and everything. Jesus Christ, he just cut him $100 billion check July of last year, right? And so, and you got Kristi Noem saying, well, because they got funded in the big BS bill July of last year, then regular constitutional laws don't apply to ICE agents. What the fuck does that even mean? And this is what happens when you put inexperienced people in position of power when they don't know what the fuck they're even talking about,
It's a
right?
joke.
That's not how laws are changed by a budget bill, right? Laws don't get changed in a budget bill, but she doesn't know that, right? So this is the kind of shit that I'm talking about. And so when you asked earlier, what's the solution? What's got to change, right? There's not going to be one, fell swoop of an axe. This is going to take 1,000 cuts, death by 1,000 cuts. Brock, like when you used to work on Wall Street, right? We see a stock falling, selling off, not selling off hard, but day by day, little by little, and everything else like that. And that's what's going to have to happen here. But the way it's going to have to happen here is not by even more residents of Minnesota coming out to protest, and I encourage that, but that's not going to have him change his mind. It's when his own political supporters in the House and in the Senate, when they start saying, wait a minute, this has gone overboard. This is too much. The New York Post had to put out an editorial piece today that came out and said, oh, this is not what people vote. These videos look bad.
Yeah.
Hey,
videos
if
look
this
bad.
wasn't hey, if this wasn't caught on camera, keep on doing what
Throw
you're
in the
doing.
videos.
Yeah.
Throw in the videos.
Keep on doing what
got
you're
fired.
doing.
Ravito got fired because he allowed the killings to happen on video. That was his
On
only-
video.
That's the only
That's
thing he
the
did
thing.
wrong. Everything else.
That's
he did,
the thing.
Everything else.
That's the
they're
thing,
fine
right?
with.
So what's it going to do next? They're going to start taking away people's cell phones, or you're not allowed to show up to protest with your cell phones. Right now, you're saying
Yeah.
we can't show up to protest with guns. What's next? We can't show up to the protest with our cell phones, right? Like, again, the trampling of our rights,
joke.
and so on and so forth, right? So these are the things that I'm talking about. That is going to have that. I don't know if it's a solution as to a dilution and a slowing down of it happening. I'm not going to sit here and call it a solution, but it's going to be your people, folks that have paid for you to get to where you've gotten to, folks that have supported you, your Republican congressmen and senators, they start calling you out and like, hey, we don't like what we're seeing, because everyone else around you in your administration, they're just talking heads. You had the damn Secretary of Treasury and the Secretary of Transportation come out and said, oh, yeah, well, it's Renee Good's fault that she got killed. Alex Prudy was a domestic terrorist. What the fuck does Scott Bennett know about what the fuck is going on in the streets of Minneapolis? You're a goddamn Treasury Secretary. Shut the fuck up and
They
stay in your
all
lane.
they all view themselves as working for Trump first and the
That's
country
my
second.
thing.
I mean,
That's
at least,
the thing.
At
That's
least the
the problem.
senators and congressmen on the MAGA side do have voters that they may be a little bit worried about if things get so bad that even their seat can get hot. Because supposedly
Yeah.
Ted Cruz even said some shit to Trump
Of
about.
course,
like,
they're all
throwing
saying
this
it's again
shit
because
down. You know,
because the
because
folks
it's
that are
making their
getting
lives a little more uncomfortable. Is
the
there
folks that are getting killed
anything
look like them.
is there anything a white leader can say to you right now that would have an impact on
I mean, they could
race
say
can?
something that I mean, it'll never happen, but they would have to tell us, they'd have to guarantee us that we're going to have a reckoning on race when this is all said and done. And we are going to come to the table with tangible solutions to systemic racism. Everything from the prison industrial complex to, our ability to acquire and accumulate wealth.
Mark, didn't we have that a little bit 5 years ago? God damn it!
Yeah, but it was
Didn't
never
we have a little
implemented.
bit of reckoning?
People put the money aside and said it was going to be used for that, and it never was.
It never was, right? Good, maybe so. And if it never was, maybe
It's
there was
back
never
in
really,
circulation now.
maybe
That
there was
money's
never,
back
and
in
maybe
circulation.
it was never any intention for that money to be put to work as it was, right?
Hello.
Right? Like the $2
Hello.
billion that Clinton and Bush raised, to fix Haiti after the earthquake in 2012, and not a penny was spent towards fixing up any of the damage caused by it. Right? So the money's raised, but none of it put to work. Right? The affirmative action, DEI, right, went into fucking 20th gear after the killing of George Floyd. Right? Oh, we got 40% have this in Hollywood and all the different industries. And then folks started waking up and said, no, we don't like this. This is not what
Right.
we want. No, not at all. Not at all.
All right. Well, Mark,
All right,
you gave me
gentlemen.
something. You gave me something tangible. Hervé, would you be on board with that, or like,
On board with what?
just if you heard someone who kind of came out with like, whatever, a 10-point plan and how they're gonna instigate a racial reckoning if they were put in charge. True policies against.
Well, that's what I was going to
Issues.
say. I would have to see their actions behind their words. Because words like those they fall real shallow. Right? Because, and Mark, you know what I'm talking about? Been here, done that. Done seen that shit. I know how this movie ends. You all talk a good talk and you say some good stuff, right? Let me see action if it can come into place right now and stuff like that. And look, I welcome it, Brock. Right? If that's going to ease you a little bit, I'll welcome it. I'll gladly listen to it.
Not going to ease me. I'm looking for it.
Right.
I want someone to do it. I think it would be politically.
Well,
I
it's
think it
not
would be politically
expedient.
advantageous, but I'm
Proud.
sure most candidates think it would be politically risky.
Exactly.
But I'd love to see like a JB Pritzker lay out a plan. I'm not a huge Pritzker guy. I don't think we'll get it from Newsom.
I think
Buttigieg, I think has a chip missing in the way Bernie Sanders does on race. So I don't know who the
I
person
think
would
there
be.
needs to be a coalesce, man. Look, we talked about this a little bit, last year. I think, Mark, you had asked me, Hervé, what do you think is going to have to happen? And it's all going to have to blow up, right? And we're beginning to see this blow up, right? On these streets of Minneapolis, and let's see what cities they rotate to next, right after Minneapolis and everything, because they're not stopping.
That means the economy is going to have to crash.
But and if not that, and I'm not hoping for that at all, kind of a thing. But what I mean is an economic boycott, but on a nationwide basis, where people have said enough is enough is enough, right? And it has to be economic boycotts. It has to be widespread, continuous, week after week protests of people coming out, even in cities where there are not ICE agents, and say, no, that's it. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Congressmen and senators, this will impact how you do in these upcoming midterm elections. We will vote you out, right? I think it would have to take things like that, right? Not just the residents in Minneapolis, standing up. It has to be freaking widespread. It has to be a movement, right? And movements are not just one city, right? It has to be freaking widespread. But in order for that to happen, folks gotta get frustrated. And they have to get so upset that, you know what? And this is what I said last time. I have my job. I have my schooling, but I'm still unhappy as to what is going on in this country. I have to sit,
It's
I
horrific.
have to say something. I can't sit here idly and not do or say anything.
Right.
Does
Hey,
that
Brock.
happen?
Right. Hey, Brock, you got a quick hit for me before we get out of here? I got dinner getting cold right here. I'm going to start eating on you guys in
Well,
a
you're gonna
second.
start eating up, man.
So you're not gonna be happy when I say I got two of them, but they're quick.
Oh,
Number one, speaking of artists who make a statement, Neil Young has pulled all his music off of Amazon and says he will
oh,
not
but
have
you're
it
going
on
to say
there again.
Spotify.
Of course, you remember
Okay.
Neil Young, who went and wrote Four Dead in Idaho within a day of the shooting at Kent State. That guy's
Right.
old school, and he gave his music for free to Greenland. That guy
Nice.
walks the walk with the best of them. So I wanted to do the shout
No
out
doubt.
to Neil Young. Speaking of
Love
wanting
Neil Young.
people with platforms to make statements, please, we need more of it. We haven't had enough
Yeah.
of it. It's one of the things we have not had enough of in 2025. Needs to change in 2026. A little bit. Glenn Close was out. Like you're saying, more Hollywood people are starting to speak up. But
Yep.
on something that hits home a little bit more, having been banned by TikTok. TikTok, that was the old TikTok ownership banned us. The Chinese ownership. Now it's owned by right-wing MAGA lovers.
Right.
And apparently in the first week, the algorithms changed already, and you couldn't like search, have Epstein or ICE in your headings, and they were filtering and basically
What?
censoring all kinds of postings. A lot of people on TikTok have gotten pissed off, and apparently a lot of people have deleted the app in the first week. The company,
Nice.
of course, blamed it on the power outage, as if the power outage has something to do with the algorithms. Like, come on. How dumb do they think we are? But anyway,
Hey,
apparently,
piss on us and tell us it's raining.
apparently TikTok is
right,
taking a negative hit on its user base since this new ownership is taken over, because people have noticed weird shit going on in their feeds and their inability to both access information and create content with certain keywords, and they're just not buying the fact that it had to do with the cold weather.
No different than CBS News, right?
Exactly.
Major decline in
And-
viewership on a year-over-year basis, down like 25% year-over-year.
Who's going to watch that DeCopel character who's married to Katie Tur, who are undercover MAGA people? I mean, it's a joke.
It's a sad thing. Sad thing.
Speaking of people making statements, Michael Cohen fired by Midas Touch. Midas
What for?
Touch sued you. He was let go because he was alleging that he was coerced by Letitia James into testifying against Donald Trump. Now, we all remember this man went to prison for Trump
Right.
and was pissed about it, right?
Right.
And then he comes back out now, and Lev Parnas, man, I don't know, people are still talking to Lev Parnas. I would not be telling Lev Parnas anything. Lev Parnas will tell it all. Lev Parnas says that Michael Cohen approached him and said, hey, if we can find something big enough, we can go to Trump and get back in his good graces and blow, a story up. So here's Michael Cohen, doing a 180, right? Trying to get back into MAGA world. And are we surprised? Right now, Brock, I know you've said, I'm always looking at these, MAGA turned good guys, with the side eye,
Yeah.
and Michael Cohen is the perfect example
He
of
mu-
why we should
He
always
must
be
need the money,
wary.
right? He lives on Fifth Avenue. He
Gotta
must
be.
like he must need the money. No one's hiring him as a lawyer anymore. He
Right.
must need the money. So he's
He
like,
can't work. Where's he
So
going to
he's
work?
so he's trying to get back into good graces with Trump. Right now.
because it pays, because a lot of money flows through the Trump, crony capitalism
$3 billion,
ecosystem.
$3 billion last
remember-
year.
Get involved in a
And
crypto
remember-
thing here or there, and all of a sudden you got an extra couple million in your bank account.
No doubt. And remember, Michael Cohen is used to living the high life. He was deep up in the
He's an
criminal.
Upper East Side, Upper East Side guy.
You
And he was all up in the criminal game with Trump.
Yeah.
So they were getting paid off their criming, and now not so much. It seems to have dried up. So, Hervé, you've got some
You got one
homework.
for us?
In regards to what? You have
You know,
to.
we call a quick hit, which is like
Quick hit?
a pop culture story that maybe connects to the bigger thing. If you don't have one, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, your time's almost up.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry. So you got it.
You know, you can't come with Shador Sanders in the Pro Bowl either.
Oh,
We'll
I
talk
didn't even
about
think.
that another day.
I have no problem with him. That's a problem with him.
No, I'm going to throw one out. Did you
Okay.
see Kanye's apology
Yes.
to the Jewish
Yes.
community
Yes, I did see that.
for
I
his
did see that.
anti-Semitism?
Well,
Thoughts? Mark,
Okay.
do you say it's money? No one's buying his sneakers anymore or his music? Hervé?
Whoa. So apparently there was an apology he made to the Jewish community for all his anti-Semitic remarks and wearing swastika on T-shirts and everything else. He also made an apology to the black.
Come closer, come closer.
I'm sorry. He also made an apology. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he also made an apology to the black community, right? Because he said, "Oh, slavery was good. What's wrong with slavery?" And all that. So I heard about it a little bit. Then I was watching the post from the Breakfast Club. So that's the morning radio show with Charlemagne the God, and they had read both of his apologies to the Jewish community and to the black community and everything else like that. I was surprised to hear how the DJs, including Charlemagne the God, who's had presidential candidates on his morning radio show and everything else like that. I was surprised that they said that they believe he is being honest in his apologies, because the main reason why they believe it is because he has not been seen or heard of in a long time. And then apparently back in December, I did not know this because I don't follow her, Kim Kardashian said he's doing a much better job as co-parenting with their kids, and that all of this in regards to his apology was really pushed onto him by his current wife that says, hey, listen, you need to apologize to these communities because you really hurt them with your words and your actions and everything else like that. Now, is it because of money, Mark? I would not be surprised. Who the hell would be buying a Kanye West album today or downloading one of his songs if he comes out with one? He hasn't been seen in the public eye. His Grammys are going to be next week. He's not going to the Grammys and all this other stuff. It's like, what do you do? He has a school. No one's going to his schools and everything else like that. So many of the corporate sponsors and partnerships were diluted because of it, right? Adidas cut him and the Gap cut him and so on and so forth. So no doubt money is
him.
Money's taking a hit. Money took a hit a long time ago. But when you're worth $1 billion, maybe you can float for a little while longer. But this is a guy he's creative genius. He likes to create fashion and music and everything else like that. And he went off the rails. I heard what the DJs on the morning the Breakfast Club said. I'm not the biggest believer in his apologies yet. In his apology letters, he leaned heavily on his he blamed not being on medication and being bipolar, being mentally unstable. Last year, he was going through difficult things. He even said in his apology letter at one point, he wasn't sure if he wanted to be around, right? I mean, if sad, if true, right? Like, was he thinking about taking his own life and everything else like that, right? So all that being said, listen, I don't live in his head. He doesn't live in my head. But at the end of the day, sort of what I was saying before, when you're talking about Hervé, hey, would you want to see a white leader come out and talk about, a day of reckoning when it comes to race relations in the United States? And I said, I'd rather see more actions as word. Kanye, if you are honestly being honest about both of these apologies, I got to see actions more than words on a letter. All right.
Okay.
You need to go on a nationwide apology tour to both the Jewish and the black community. And you need to ingratiate yourself with both of these groups of people. That's the only way I accept his apologies.
I read it. Let me just
All
say,
right.
as the Jewish guys, quick hit on it. I read it laughing when I first started reading the article, like, oh shit, no fucking way, Kanye.
Right.
As I got through the whole thing, I was like, you know what? This was a pretty good apology letter. Yes, he needs to back it up with little things, but
He didn't write it.
as mea culpas go, either his team or someone crafted a pretty good one.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm going to
Right.
at least give him that first baby step. his first baby step back was pretty good. He's
Yeah.
got a long way to go, man.
Yeah, you got to ingratiate. You have to go on
He
a
went full
nationwide
Nazi.
apology to us.
Mark,
Yeah.
he went full Nazi.
He went full Nazi. It was too
went-
much.
He
He
went.
has too much.
He went real.
And he needs
It
to let
was-
his wife wear some clothes. You know, let your wife wear some clothes when she's out.
Hold on now. I think that's more subjective than anything else, and I think we should just leave it there. I think we should just.
That's a
leave it there.
great place to wrap up, guys.
That's a
I'm
great
on
place
my
to wrap
last
it up.
night on the road. I gotta go enjoy right quick. But
Enjoy
Hervé
that
always
cold-plated dinner. Enjoy the cold-plated dinner. Hervé, as always, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure, guys.
see
Thanks
you
for having
soon,
me on,
Hervé.
man. Yeah, we'll do it again, man.
Yes,
Let's keep it
sir.
real, guys. Thank you.
Shalom.
All right, Jay.
All right. Have a good night. All right. Be well.